This is a Bayes network that I have drawn, imaginative one of course, close to some reality, in which this Bayes network tries to encode the cause-effect relationship of one fine morning I am waking up and my car won't start. This is the evidence that I observe, and I make up a Bayes network. Why the car won't start? What are the possibilities that the car won't start? The car won't start, maybe that there is no gas in the car, and maybe the fuel pipe is blocked, or the starter is broken, or the battery is flat. So now those things are again related with other things in the car, right? Like the battery is flat, battery may be due to a dead battery, or the battery is not charging. The battery being dead may be affected by the age of the battery. But if the battery is dead, then the dead battery being the cause, I can have two effects. One, the battery going flat, and the battery meter. I can observe that in the battery meter. It's like a test of the battery. Now the battery not charging may be affected by two causes. One, the alternator is broken, or the fan belt is broken. Again, the battery going flat, apart from affecting the car not starting, can affect other things. The lights will not start on, the oil light will not start on, the gas lights will not start on. The oil lights will again be affected not only by battery, but there is this oil is not the engine fuel. It is like the, for example, lubricant oil. These oil lights may not also start up, not only due to the battery, it's also getting affected by no lubricant at all. The gas lights will be affected by no gas, that is no petroleum. No petroleum is this no petroleum node is affecting the gas lights also, and the car won't start also. The no oil node is affecting the oil light, and at the same time the dipstick. A dipstick can tell you the level of the lubricant in the lubricant canister, so that is also affecting the dipstick. So this is a total causality encoding of why my car won't start. And if I want to reason through probability, through reasoning, through probabilistic reasoning, what is the belief of my car not starting? As if you can count, there are 16 variables here, and if I have to encode the joint probability distribution of these 16 variables, how many probability I have to write? I have to write 2 to the power 16 minus 1, that is 65535 probabilistic values. But when I am writing it in the form of a Bayes network, the numbers written in red are the number of probability values that are required to describe each node. For example, probability of battery age, probability that battery has aged out, probability not battery age. Probability of battery age, that's only one variable, that's only one probability. Probability of battery dead given battery age, probability of battery dead not given not battery age. So two probability variables. Here not charging is having 4 probability variables. Probability not charging given alternator broken, fan belt broken like this, as we have seen in our happiness example. Here, this H, for H there were 4 variables. It is a similar structure, so this will also have 4 variables. One variable for this PS and PR, 1 probability number, 1 number. So accordingly, again battery flat is having 4. So accordingly there are this number of probability values required to describe this Bayes network, and if you add those numbers up, you will find that you are having only 47 probability values required. So there is a huge compression in the description of the problem. If we had to describe this in the form of a joint probability table, we would require these many values to describe it. But now I have compressed that entire knowledge into such a smaller number of probability values. Apart from that, since I have got this structure, I will, whenever I have to compute some belief, whenever I have to compute some probability, I will not have to compute the joint probability every time. I will use this structure to my advantage, in which I will use some conditional independence of variables, as we have seen earlier. And if 2 variables in a structure in my query, if 2 variables are independent, I can automatically reduce that variable from my count, right? If, for example, here PR given S, I reduce the variable S to just PR. So that is how we will see that when the Bayes network grows into a very complicated structure, we can use this concepts of independence to reduce my number of variables while computing the probability. So for reducing this, we will be using some basic rules of independence, as we have already seen, and they are called the rules of D-separation. Let us consider a very simple chain Bayes network A, B, C. What does this mean? This means that occurrence of C is dependent on B and occurrence of B is dependent on A. Now, if I tell you that there is no information about B, are C and A independent? No, because if B is not known to you, and I give you some knowledge that A has happened, then your belief about occurrence of B is changed. And if your belief of occurrence of B is changed, it will change your belief about C, because this is probability of C given B. It requires probability of C given not B, probability of B given A, probability of B given not A, and this requires probability of A and probability of not A. These are the parameters that are associated with this simple Bayes network. I tell you nothing about B. You do not know anything about B. Now I tell you that A has happened or A has not happened, whatever it is. Consider A has happened. Since you have this probability of B given A, your belief about B will change according to Bayes' theorem. If your belief about B changes, then your belief about C will also change eventually, because there is a probability of C given B, which means your belief of B affects your belief of C. So, if B is not given, C is not independent of A. This perpendicular sign is the symbol for independence. C is not independent of A. But if B is given, if you know that B has happened like this, it's drawn like this. If I give you any information about B, if I ask you your belief about C, you do not require to answer. You do not require the whether A happened or not happened to answer that. Since you know, if I tell you B happened, you can tell me your belief about C from this probability. If I tell you that B did not happen, you can tell me your belief about C from this probability. And in neither of these cases any evidence of A is required. So under this condition, C becomes independent of A. This is our first structure. The second structure is you already know actually. This is called the serial chain structure. This is called the diverging structure. This diverging structure we have studied while studying two-test cancer, right? This is the right diverging structure. And we already know what the structure gives us. If we know nothing about A, when A is not given, B and C are dependent, as we have seen. When we did not know anything about the cancer, my knowledge about test T1 changed my belief about test T2. So they are dependent. But when we know that the person has cancer, that is when this node A is given, B and C are independent. Now let us come to our last structure, that is the happiness example that we have seen. When C is not given, A and B are independent. When C is given, A and B are dependent. Let us have a simple Bayes network and do a small quiz on this. I have asked you some queries and given you some yes or no options. Let us solve this through. The first question is C independent of A? Yes or no? See this first rule of D separation. Is C independent of A? It is a chain like that only, right? A influencing B, B influencing C, and I am asking is C independent of A? and I have mentioned nothing about B. So no, the answer is no, right? This is my answer. But when B is given, C is independent of A. Is C independent of A given B? When B is given, C becomes decoupled from A, because information about B is sufficient to you to answer any query related to your probability of C given B or probability to C given not B. So they become independent. C given D, are they independent? Sorry, C not given D. Are C and D independent? Nothing is given here. See the structure. Are B and C independent here when nothing about A is told to you? No, they are dependent. See, it's a similar structure. Diverging structure on the C and D. Nothing about A is mentioned. So they are actually dependent. C independent of D given A. Given A, are B and C independent here? When you knew that the person already had cancer, were the two tests independent? They were. So these two, these two children or these two subtrees become independent. C independent of D given A? Yes, they are. E independent of C given D? When D is given, E becomes decoupled from A. So your belief about E is only dependent now on D. Whether C happens or not, any information about C will not influence your belief about E. Right? Any information about C will not influence your belief about E, because information about D is given, whether D has happened or not, and that is enough to answer any query regarding your belief about E. You have P, probability E given D, and probability E given not D. That is enough for you to answer. No other node is required here. So probability of E is independent of C given D. Now let us take up a different Bayes network and try to answer the queries. Is A independent of E? You can see there's a chain-like pattern here. Nothing about the intermediate node mentioned. So A is independent of E? No. A is independent of E given B? Again no, because something about B is given, but that does not give you any information regarding C, and since there is no instantiation or information regarding C, A and D are still dependent. I would rather put it in this way, that since A and B are causes and C is the effect, if I tell you that B has happened, your belief about C might change. If your belief about C changes, your belief about E might change. But now but that does not mean that that belief has become totally decoupled from A, because that at that moment, if I tell you that A has also happened, your belief will again change. So they are still dependent. Until and unless we can get total decoupling, we cannot say independence. Now, the next query is A independent of E given C, of course. The moment I know totally about C, whether this thing has happened or not, E gives no room of play for B and A. E now is totally able to pinpoint its belief only on the value of C. Yes. A is independent of B. Yes, A is independent of B, because we have seen in the happiness problem, when we did not have any information about the person being happy, Rainy and raise in salary and Sunny were independent. So and we are independent. Yes, they are. A independent B given C? No, we have seen that in the happiness problem only. In the rules of D-separation, I just forgot to mention one more structure, that if there is a structure like this and this is some direct successor of this node, this node, that is known, that is given to me, true or false information about that node is given to me, like this is A, B, C, a structure like that in 3. But here directly C is not instantiated or known, but some direct successor of C is known. In that case also A and B will become dependent. This is another rule of D-separation. I will give you one small Bayesian network. And ask you some queries. This is our Bayesian network. I will ask you this query. Is F independent of A? F independent of A. You want to go to F from A. F is connected to D through E, which is not instantiated. So none of the variables, and there is only a single path from F to A, right? See how it works is, the path from F to A, there is only one path and it goes through the node D. Now B and E are connected to D. You do not have any information about D. So B and E are independent here. So there is no coupling between B and E. And A is connected to B and F is connected to E. So your belief about A has no bearing whatsoever with your belief about F. So F and A are independent. I hope you got my reasoning. Now I give you this. Now the thing is, the moment you give D, B and E become dependent. Since B and E become dependent, since A is connected with B and F is connected with E, your belief about A and is influenced by your belief about F and vice versa. So this path now gets connected and hence they are no more independent. I ask you this question. F is independent of A given G. Remember the last rule that we have talked about here in the rules of D separation, in which information about some successor variable in such a structure is getting percolated in towards the upward direction. So information about G gives me some information about D, and some information about D again makes my F and A dependent on each other. So they are not independent. Then I ask you, is F independent of A given H? This is now given. But since G is not given, remember this structure. It's a converging structure. When G is not given, you know H, but H and D are not dependent at all, right? H and D are independent. Whether it's sunny outside or you have got a raise in salary, they are independent if you do not know whether the person is happy or not. So not this information not given, H and D are independent, and information about H do not give you any information about D, and since there is no information about D, A and F are independent. Right? So these are the ways in which we answer queries. And these are the ways in which we can find nodes which are independent given some evidence, conditioned on some evidence. You can see the same two nodes sometimes becoming independent and sometimes becoming dependent as and when the conditional variable, as and when the variable on which we are conditioning changes. We give no conditioning variable, the answer is something. We change from D to G to H, the answers keep on changing. So as and when the evidence changes, the independence changes.